we had an opening meeting discussing the pros and cons of 30 and 38. So if you want to, if you're really into policy wonk stuff, go to our website or go to smartvoter.org. Okay, enough promos for the league. Third question, Ms. Matthews, you'll start. What is your thought on selling surplus property such as the Cabello site to help offset the cash challenge caused by continuing budget cuts?
Well, I never thought that we would have to come to this, but unfortunately this is where we are. So while I'd hate to let any school site go, that's where we are. So right now we're in the exploratory phase and seeing if the community thinks it's a viable option. And so we're not at the point where we're going to vote on it, but if it comes before us, I most likely, if the advisory committee comes back with a recommendation to sell the property to generate some revenue, I'll support it.
Right now we are in dire straits and we do need to generate cash flow for the district. I am very hesitant about selling school property. One of the sites is this one, which kind of is weird for me. We wouldn't have our own home, basically. And then the other site, the Cabello site, is right across the street from my house. So it's one of those things that, you know, I'm a little hesitant, but again, we have to do what we need to do. If it comes down to selling property or being able to pay our employees and provide a great education for our students, I'm selling property. So, thank you.
Don't sell the property. That's the scam. That's what they want you to do. What we can do is very simple. There is a bill that's called the State and Local Government and Powers Act. What we're going to do is we're going to work with Allied Waste, and we're going to turn manure, our garbage, into alcohol. And we're going to sell that to companies and the people that need alcohol, not the drinking kind, for whatever purposes. What I'm thinking is this. Chevron did a no-no in Richmond. So part of the deal that they can make the Richmond citizens is to, okay, pay for the medical costs, okay, but we will not sue you for that much money. Instead, what we want from you, Mr. Rockefeller, is we want the patent for the 100-mile-to-gallon carburetor. So we will build a factory in Contra Costa County that has cars that travel on 100 miles to a gallon. We here in Union City will sell them the alcohol, the fuel for the cars. Again, the funding can be done by the State and Local Government and Powers Act. We also want a state bank. The state bank goes like this. They borrow the money from the Federal Reserve at 0%. We need a loan, they can get us the money at no % interest, if that's the way it has to be. Come on. This is not the way to go. If you want the same old tired ways, you're going to vote for these guys. And again, remember, they sold your kids out. What are they having anything new to say?
Okay, so my thoughts on the possible sale of property for our site is that, first of all, I want to make sure that we have capacity. We look beyond those near-term problems that we're having, look to what's happening with the entire city, the development around the BART station, and think, do we have enough capacity to handle all of the classroom space that we need? So I certainly want to at least look very carefully at that, and I had asked about that in the initial discussion. But like the others have said, my other board members, we are in a really difficult situation. So we do need the cash flow. So I would look at this and lean towards doing it as long as we have a reasonable amount of capacity. But I also want to note that I see this, one other thing about the sites, I've certainly been approached by a couple of folks over the last couple of weeks talking about, well, maybe there's some other sites that would be better. The two that are proposed probably have the highest value in terms of property value, along with some of the other issues that go along with them, so I take that in consideration. But the next thing I'd like to say is we really need to have it's not sustainable. Selling property, we sell it and it's gone. and we don't have anything else to do. So we need to address the structural problems that we have with our budget, and I would propose other things to do to make that happen.
Okay, let's be a bit more upbeat with this. Well, half and half on this next question, and we'll start with Mr. Dino this time. Please identify one success, or more if you'd like, that you see our schools achieving, and one area you believe needs to be improved the most.
Okay. Successes. We, despite all of the cuts that we have, all of the strife that's happening in our district, I think one of the major successes that I think there's a new sense of teamwork, much more teamwork within the district. We're working better with our bargaining groups. We're working better with the community, as trying to work more with the community. A few years ago, I remember the bargaining unions used to yell at me when I was running on the board, and so we're not yelling at each other. We're all working together. We know that there is no money, and the only way we can survive as a district is to work together. So I think that's a big success. I know a lot of our other things, our extracurricular activities, those are still performing. They're doing great work. Our kids are, and so that's what some of the successes in general. I think as far as what we need to do to improve, I think we still need to work on communication, getting more information out there to the public. I think with more information and open communication back and forth, the better we can make decisions for our district. So thank you.
What I see is our kids are smart. They know that it wasn't blacks or Latinos that brought down this economy. Anybody that believes that it was a subprime problem, please go check yourself at the Kaiser Hospital. The problem was underlining. It was the brokers. Essence and effect, Wells Fargo was sued, and they paid about $100 million because they defrauded blacks and Latinos, about 30,000 of them. This was a banking problem. Why are we not facing it? Why are we not doing something about it? Why aren't we putting these people in jail? Why are we not getting back our money? The kids see this, and they see the adults not fighting for it. And it's like, where's the American dream? I'm fighting for the American dream. And the basis of that dream is a great education. We can have one that's second to none. But these guys are stuck in la-la land. It's not going to get better. The economy is not going to get better because they don't want it to get better. Short, long-term interest rates are rigged. Where are the jobs? The jobs can be created. North American Water Project, talk about that later. You can get industrial hemp. 500 products can be made if the Rockefellers would get off our throat and allow us to make 500 different products from hemp. There is your unemployment rate is gone. There's your taxation.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Starr, the second half of the question is areas of improvement, is that correct?
Yeah, the area you believe needs to be improved the most.
Okay, thank you. So successes. One of the things that I'm most excited to, that is aware that's happening in the district, it's not something that I made a decision on, was opening up the AP program to all students. That was a major change that happened in the past year, and that has just had tremendous results. We have seen so many more kids participating and so many more kids doing extremely well. I'm excited about this because I think it's a way to get kids excited about school, and it directly relates to seeing them higher graduation rates and closing the achievement gap. This is not something that has happened before, and the leadership that made this happen was amazing and wonderful. Another thing that's happened in our schools, it's just starting, and it's a fledgling program, which I think I'm also excited about. Again, this is not something I can take credit for, and that's Kids Zone. And the Kids Zone is looking at a comprehensive way to help kids that haven't had success in the past in the classroom and looking to see if they can advance. And it includes not only talking to them, but also talking to their families and helping the families understand that you can get beyond the lower performing. In terms of areas of improvement, the first thing that comes to my mind is libraries. Not having libraries open is just a travesty, and we need to figure out a way to make that happen.
Mr. Ritchie kind of stole a couple of my my success stories, but I'll tap in on one that's near and dear to me, and that's the way this board has addressed student discipline across the district. A few years ago, we were seeing a disproportionate amount of black and brown students come before the board for various infractions and whatnot. And so we went back to staff and we had some really courageous conversations about how we were addressing those student needs and not necessarily looking at the students as the source of the issue, but more that they were lacking in some area. And so we've done a really, really good job of that. We don't have very many closed sessions where we're even discussing student discipline, and that is really important to me because I was a student that was always on the receiving end of discipline when I was going through the school system here. So we're keeping kids in our classrooms, and we've done such a great job, and staff has done such a great job that we no longer need to have our own community day school because we just weren't sending kids there anymore. So I'm really, really proud of that. And as Mr. Ritchie pointed out, Kids Zone, it's an important program specifically to my community because I'm from the Dakota neighborhood, and that's where we're focusing our attentions on wraparound services for our families.
Okay. Number 5 is kind of more hopeful in a sense. And we'll start again with at the top of the line. If and when, but let's just say when, New Haven Unified School District begins to receive increased funding, what programs, positions, or support services do you suggest be either reinstated or implemented?
First of all, we're going to test our kids on how they learn and not what they know. We're going to teach our teachers how to teach. The other programs that we should have is we should take care of the kids who are foster kids, kids have lost their parents, kids are going through divorces, the arts, extracurricular activities. We can make our school a full school again, make it a community that the students know that they can trust the teachers and they can trust the school board because the school board is going to give them every opportunity to succeed. They're not going to lie to them anymore. And we're going to also provide jobs because we are going to be two purposes I see. One is that we're supposed to educate your children. And then the other thing is we're supposed to educate you. You may not agree with everything I've said, but I'm offering you jobs. What are you offering? You got ideas for jobs? Come on, bring them home, sister. I will go for it, and we will make the noise that has to be done. Because as long as Fox News and those other guys on the left, right, and center are taking up the airwaves, and they're not talking about the real issues, they want to divide us instead of uniting us, then we are going to continue to have these problems. We can have this school district. It's called what? New Haven, right? Well, we may not make it a new heaven, but we can sure give it a good try.
Okay. Wow, I love this question. What would we do with that kind of funding? So certainly co-curricular programs, I would go back to a full implementation of those throughout the district, all the way starting in the elementary school level and going up through our high schools, make sure that we have programs that are well funded and the importance of those, of course, is that it allows our children to have a full, comprehensive education, allows them to be able to distinguish themselves in college and trade school applications, job applications. It allows them so many things, expands their intellect. So That would be critical. I would love to see that happen. Another thing I would explore is an improvement in our health, community health of our schools, and even our foods that we have. You know, where we are now is not where we need to be in terms of community health, and I'd like to see that evaluated.